What do you ask for? The message received by a senior sister yesterday is shown in the figure below. Kinglianchi, this senior sister now almost asks for something and gets something. The law is frequent: work, family, love. Her homework is not empty magic spell Jizong Bodhisattva firm earth god trick goddess. Because Tian Budatian Teed is the law of the world, the number of ghosts and gods and medicine forks is waiting for dispatch. Therefore, if the cultivation of the sky is more appropriate, there will be a situation where everything will come with after the cultivation. Wherever you want something, your thoughts will come, which will also lead you to not being easy to ask for wishes, but to practice honestly and tend to Bodhi. Of course, if you pay attention to what she said, according to the comparison of the method of stars and accommodation in Tantra. The day she was born happened to be the day when the law was practiced and the law was strengthened. I published an article last time Manjushri Ritual Sutra on Suyao. Whether you can achieve your practice in this life and the strength of the Dharma can be known when you are born. Defangguang Bodhisattva Tibetan Manjushri Master S Fundamental Ritual Track Sutra Volume 13 All Dharmas and Righteous Products No. 15 Cloud, holding the chanting of pedestrians is blessed with all kinds of wonderful appearances. And practice determines the achievement. There are also auspicious stars and auspicious times. In a moment of breath, turn around the sky to look at the world. All sentient beings meet at this time of separation. There is great auspiciousness and great blessings. The practice of the great laws determines the achievement. There are sentient beings who have no good roots and many bad karma. That is, when you are alive, you meet an evil star. It is decided that if there is no blessing, the roots will be lacking and people will not have each other. The reason why the law you have practiced cannot be achieved. If you are reserved, you will meet the ghost in the morning. Jiangsu Xingsu. The room is in the room. Jiaosu Baisa Pleiades, etc. At the beginning of the day, visit at the same time. This person has achieved everything he has done and practiced. If you are blessed to be born, meet an auspicious star, and have a lucky day to rotate the sky at the time of birth, this person will be blessed. And the cultivation of various great laws will determine the achievement in the future. Such as Ghost Su, Kui Su, Zhang Su and Xing Su. Why was he born on the auspicious day of the house? Naturally, it is caused by the blessing of the previous life. So the return of the Buddha and Bodhisattva and the great achiever will also be in line with the fate of this world. Their appearance, birthplace feng shui and birthday are all auspicious, and they are also accompanied by all kinds of auspiciousness. If it is a destad there are many evil karma, and there are no good roots. When you are born with evil stars, you will decide that you will not be blessed. If you don't have all the roots, you can achieve the great law you practice. We can say that this is an innate factor. The great kindness in the previous life is blessed, and it is born with a sharp root opportunity. For example, Master Huining of the sixth ancestor heard a verse in the Vajradhara Sutra and realized that there should be no place to live, but give birth to its heart. This must be the good roots accumulated over the years. In this life, the opportunity is mature, like a melon ripe and falling, and 1,000 enlightenments soon as you hear it. The senior sister said that it was very effective for her to cast spells in the past. Senior brother I know is also quite effective in practicing the law and asking for a great wish. But some of the messages I received from my seniors, they recited the curse tens of millions of times, with huge debts and many obstacles. Why is there such a big difference in the same cultivation method? The reason is how to practice the law and other factors, but there is another one, which must be related to the blessing of the predestination. Therefore, there is no need to lose confidence when you hear that others recite a certain spell. And there is no need to hear that a certain Dharma spirit has shaken what is practiced now. The Dharma is like medicine, and everyone's Dharma fate is different. If you often practice a master and a Dharma in the world, it will naturally be easier to practice it now. For example, the lunar name of Nalanda temple in India takes Manjushri Bodhisattva as the original master, and is the blessing of the Bodhisattva, so that he can see the master in person. The Yuiguanjushur, on the other hand, takes Guanyin Bodhisattva and Green Mother as the predestined Buddha. Guanyin Bodhisattva often appears to teach him Buddhism and teaches him how to debate. Yesterday, a senior left a message: after watching others, you can see yourself again, and there is no sense. Later, when I saw in my brother's article that it was said that the Liberate Army had practiced Maitreya Bodhisattva for 10 years without verification, I was relieved. I said, from the example of the Liberate Army, we can also be deeply inspired. You don't have to care about your previous life, you don't have to care about your date of birth, do a good job in the present, practice well. And do what you should do. Is Maitreya Bodhisattva the predestined nature of the Libation Army? Yes. The Bodhisattva without writing also practiced the Maitreya Bodhisattva for 12 years, without verification, but he has been sticking to it and finally saw himself. Maitreya Bodhisattva took him to the courtyard of the sky and heard the magic method. After 10 years of the repair of the army, he repaired Maitreya as protection and watered the protection of the friction 1.2 million times, not 120 times. Not 12,000 times, but 1.2 million times. Finally, he met Maitreya in person in the protection furnace and made achievements. Of course, seeking achievement and seeking induction are not the same thing. The former is much more difficult. Therefore, sometimes I receive some messages, but there is no response after repairing for a long time. Some of them have been repaired for more than 10 years, and now life is almost unable to live. However, after some of them have been repaired, the induction is frequent, and all aspects of life and work have changed a lot. In the face of such problems, we must analyze them rationally. First of all, cause and effect can only be understood by Buddha. Mortals can't understand all the causes without fate. But for uncontrollable factors, people should learn to do what they can control, and have their own principles and norms. For example, some core elements of the law: focus on the mind. Pay attention to your body, mouth and mind, and don't build a career while accumulating merit. Continuation without interruption. Gradually practice according to a certain etiquette. Seize the origin of the world and do what you should do now. There is a saying in Confucianism: do your best and listen to fate. Of course, Buddhism does not talk about fate, but about karma. If you try your best but still can't ask for it, it is caused by lack of blessing and karma. We should look at it with the heart of following fate. Our little brother, a classmate who did poorly after the college entrance examination, cried to me, although he practiced the law by himself, why did he do so poorly in the exam? He's from Guangdong. Let us call him little brother for the time being. I am a person who can comfort people, but I can provide some different views and ideas. That is to say, many things are very bad from the perspective of the current fate, but they will be different in the long run. Senior Sister Kaka said that when she was in middle school, a classmate who was 1 year older than her was friends and had a good relationship. But he stopped studying after graduating from high school. Senior Sister Kaka went to Australia to study. Today, more than 10 years later, the student has a net worth of more than 2 billion. She said that if he had gone to college, he would have missed the opportunity to start a business. She believes in the 8 characters very much. She thinks how famous she is and whether she can be admitted. It is clear at a glance from the 8 characters. And I have no study of the 8 characters. I think it is not destined. The cause and effect behind it is determined by the karma of good and evil. After all, human power cannot be ignored. Of course, their viewpoints also have a certain reference value, because this is an innate powerful factor, but acquired efforts are also extremely important. In terms of cause and effect, Emperor Wenchang was in charge of the merit and famous science examination. And academic reputation often has a lot to do with the virtue of the ancestors. At the same time, we also pay attention to the virtues of the candidates themselves, such as filial piety and respect for teachers. I asked my little brother to recall what he had done during the preparation for the exam. Although he was reciting hard, he even had a very auspicious dream the day before the college entrance examination. He has an evil and lewd habit. I committed adultery a few weeks before the college entrance examination. At that time, I repented about this for a long time, and I also participated in the joint practice of Beiziming, and released the gathering for joint cultivation. The day before the college entrance examination, I made a wish to do 3,000 good deeds to repay. Master Yinguang once said a sentence in the text banknote: all the hairs are all his grandfathers with great yin virtue. If there is no yin virtue and it is made by manpower, there will be a great disaster in the future. It is better not to develop it. The life of great saints and sages in ancient and modern times is due to the accumulation of virtue of his grandfather, and so is the rich and noble. In order to solve his doubts, I learned about the family history of the younger brother. His grandparents were farmers. My father often looks at feng shui in cemeteries, and my mother often kills lives. For example, every festival, she kills chickens and ducks for others. His relatives always want to kill animals to worship the gods, and his mother volunteered to help kill them. She also had to salt the poultry herself and then send it to others to worship the gods. I asked her why, and she said that the outside was not clean. It is true that this is only a superficial understanding, which is not enough to explain anything specifically, but at least it shows that his ancestors do not have enough moral accumulation. On the other hand, after committing evil lewdness at that time, the little brother saw someone in the post bar saying that if he made a vow in front of the Buddha to create evil lewdness again, he would fall into hell, so he did not dare to commit it. So he followed and made a wish in incense in front of the Buddha. he said that if he commits evil and lewdness again, please ask the Buddha and Bodhisattva to withdraw my fame and fortune. In fact, I am very opposed to such a poisonous vow. If you can do anything, just do it. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas do not have the habit of 3 poisons, so naturally they will not really punish you. But when burning incense and swearing, the officials of the underworld and the gods on duty will record it, which is not a child's play. Later, he committed adultery a few weeks before the college entrance examination. Don't he make a poisonous oath, and don't he make such a wish to pay the price easily? There will be consequences. Although the specific cause and effect is quite complex, it is only a discussion, not a conclusion. I told him that the college entrance examination was not the only way out. It was true that I was not far from the college campus. I have also practiced Dharma before the college entrance examination, and I also participated in Buddhist meetings such as joint practice and praying for blessings in the college entrance examination. But the result was really not ideal, so I went to college in the north. But about a year before the college entrance examination, I dreamed of dark clouds all over the sky. I was on the top of Wutai Mountain, and Manjushri Bodhisattva came out to talk to me. At that time, I didn't have much idea about Wutai Mountain. But I went to Taiyuan to study in college because I didn't do well in the exam. When I was able to go to Wutai Mountain because of convenience, I always felt that everything had its own arrangements. After graduation, I have never regretted it, and I am not sad that I did not pass the college entrance examination. Because I have a good life after graduation, I can do what I like, relaxed and free. If you look deeply, no matter who you are, as long as you are bound to mortals, you will have all kinds of troubles. Even the president and the rich people on the Forbes list have their own sorrows. The tycoon is anxious about the acquisition, and the small staff who earns $3,000 a month is anxious about the next customer. Although things are different, the essence of troubles is the same, all of which are delusion and incompetence. At this point, the rich and the beggars are the so. When we observe carefully, it is not difficult to find that uneasiness and annoyance are everywhere in reincarnation. Joy and suffering are only relatively more and less, and impermanence can be seen everywhere. But if you can always cultivate merits and virtues, such as offering the 3 treasures, such as the practice of the law, giving all sentient beings, and the blessing will increase. No matter what profession you do, you will get better and better, and your heart will be more and more happy. Every day, the articles on my official account are published by myself. And the article on Kinguyanchi's blog was published by a senior brother for me. Thanks to her help, I saved a lot of time, so I am very grateful to her. And this brother was the first prize in liberal arts in the college entrance examination. As a top student in the college entrance examination, she has her own strengths and advantages in the top institutions, as well as her own troubles and anxieties. Therefore, I often think that troubles themselves have no self-nature. Gentlemen should act in their own position. They can pursue, actively strive and create, but don't create too much pressure and pain for gains and losses. It is not ecstatic to gain, and it is not painful to lose. Reincarnation is like a dream. In the dream, you cry and I laugh. I have something to do, but I don't know that I am a guest in the dream. Learn to be normal and face everything calmly. Adhere to your own beliefs, whether it is precepts, cause and effect, and wisdom. Doing what you can grasp and have a clear conscience is the best explanation for the future. Fortunately, you have met the Dharma. There is the wisdom of handling and the dependence of the heavens and the world, and there is the hand of the Lord on the road of life and death. The pear blossoms on the post road are all falling, and the road is colorful, and you are no longer lonely. Because outside the red dust, there are bodhisattvas who bow their eyebrows for you. In the floating world, there are 3 treasures to guide you. Compared with the souls who have no one to rely on in the world, at least you have found your last place to live. Whether it is on the other side of the lotus in full bloom, the pure and subtle empty land, or the devout and hot heart in the hustle and bustle, it will take you away from the dust and return to silence. Like a lotus flower without water, like the sun and the moon without water. Since we have gone through endless reincarnations, we have traveled through the unspeakable constant sand disaster, the vast sea of stars, and 3,000 boats. I only hope that when you and I come again, we will step on the lotus. When we get together again, we will meet at the Longhua meeting. Last year, a Tsinghua postdoctoral researcher said that he had been living in hell for 10 years because of lewdness, abortion and murder. I suggest that he repent more and accumulate blessings. When blessings grow, the reality will get better again. Perhaps, wise people care more about inner ethics, long-term gains and losses, and more about cutting off evil and doing good deeds and accumulating blessings. Even if you are among the Tsinghua University and have a blessing, if you wantonly make a career, when the blessing is reduced, you will be in debt. And the people will rebel against you, and you will not live as good as a graduate of a third-rate university. I met a father last year who kept reciting mantras for his daughter every day with his wife. His daughter's grades were getting better and better. But once he slipped a lot. He was very nervous and anxious, constantly putting pressure on his daughter, and also asked me what was going on. Why did my daughter's grades suddenly decline after reading the scriptures? Her daughter cried under too much pressure. At that time, I thought her daughter was very clever. As soon as the ranking in the exam landed, his father was very anxious and kept urging her to work hard, and work hard again. And his father is a Buddhist scholar, and he uses all his efforts to recite sutras to return to his daughter's grades. I said, why do you have to do this? I'm so nervous for the momentary results, regardless of my daughter's feelings. You now teach her to understand cause and effect, how to deal with the world, how to practice blessings and basic Buddhism, which is very important in the long run. Now that the college entrance examination has been achieved, there are mothers who study Buddhism, and their children's achievements are not ideal. They say that they have been accumulating merits and virtues for the past 3 years, working hard on homework, and also making wishes, being a vegetarian, offering 3 treasures, and burning offerings. But my daughter still got a few points less than the estimated score. She said she was about to collapse. I said, don't break down. It's really unnecessary. The merits you have cultivated will not be donated. What you feel bad about now is different from the perspective of Buddha and Bodhisattva and Dharma protection. In the future, maybe the university she went to, and her job after graduating from college will be very good. Son, the wonderful sharing of the 8 Rice Brothers brother, I have read your article for at least a year, and I have gained too much and sensed a lot. However, I'm afraid that induction is astray, which is not good for cultivation. But I think it should be okay to say it for many people to have the confidence to improve the method. I used to practice the Dizang holy number in the ground Zang Yuan. Later, after I learned about the Earth Heaven Heart Mantra, the Firm Earth God Heart Mantra, and the Great Auspicious Heavenly Goddess Heart Spell from your brother's blog, I began to arrange the Earth Tibetan holy number 10,000 Earth Heavenly Heart Mantra according to the order my brother said. 108 Prism Goddess Heart Spell 1080 Great Auspicious Goddess S Heart Spell 108. Later, he added the Fat Dissipating General S Heart Spell 3 to 7 times, and the return was also according to the method told by the elder brother. At first, my mobile phone was very broken and I wanted to change it. So in my dream, a woman of about 30 years old gave me a 3000 mobile phone, and a few days later, I bought a new mobile phone. I feel that it is the help of the God firmly. Later, my brother wrote an article about Da Zitian. In my dream, I saw a gray-white bust of Da Zitian. Later, I dreamed that a person in heaven told me 4 ways to pray for the auspicious goddess. The auspicious goddess gave me money. The auspicious goddess gave me. The auspicious goddess gave me. The auspicious goddess gave me. Later, I was going to invest in a real estate with my classmates. In my dream, I actually saw the Bodhisattva musician. She was very big, the kind of lotus, and the lotus was tall as me. I think this dream tells me whether there will be a debt problem in the future, so I put off that investment. From that day on, every time I finish my homework, I will also add Marizi Bodhisattva. A few days ago, I recited the Malizi curse in my dream. That day, I bought some stocks and made a small profit. I'm curious that I Haven Key practiced much of the heart mantra of the Bodhisattva before. How could I dream of the old man of the Bodhisattva? It's interesting. A few days ago, I read Ji Tianu 108 times at sunset while no one was disturbed. That night, I dreamed of leaving my wife. I got married and was taken away by another woman. When I saw my wife standing alone on the side of the road, I felt very uncomfortable. When I woke up, I understood that maybe the trick goddess told me that my current wife was the best arrangement for me and should cherish it. I just read my brother's article today. When it comes to drinking, I have 2 senses. I used to give food all the time. I didn't drink until I drank once. As a result, I had a toothache for a long time. A few days ago, my friend took the plane driver's license exam to celebrate and pulled me there, but my homework was not finished. While drinking, I meditated on the Earth's sacred name, the Earth's heavenly heart spell, the firm Earth's divine heart spell, the great auspicious goddess' heart spell, and the fat dispersing general's heart spell. As a result, I had a toothache for almost a month. There is also begging for wealth. I have reported to my brother before, and I burned the strong place. The picture and the origin of the horse-drawn car, and then the next day someone called me to borrow 100,000 yuan with a low-interest loan. The above is what I reported to my senior brother last time. There is no end and there is a follow-up. I vaguely remember that at that time, I thought that I didn't know what to do with the 10,000 yuan given to me. He also recommended stocks, and he also added me as a friend at that time. I recently found out that the recommended stock basically earned a few points a day. There is also something about longevity. I want to take a look at it first. The effect is very good, and it is also the method according to what my brother said. It is also the above homework. For so and so, I will go back to the Dizang Bodhisattva and all his family members, Tianchao Difu Xianqing and all his family members, the Yen Magic King and all his family members, the Moazishan Bodhisattva and all his family members, the Beta Jiaxing Jun and all his family members, and the 28 stars and all his family members. May their blessings and power increase, and all the goodness and universally proved Bodhi. Then I saw several little turtles in my consciousness. I remember that on a train, I met a monk master. He gave me a string of Buddha beads given to him by a high priest of Wutai Mountain, and said, "You can recite the Buddha every day and then pray for a wish. If you have nothing to ask for, that is better." An elder sister said that she wanted to transfer to a place to work before begging Buddha and Bodhisattva, but failed. But later I found that it was not good there. If I went there, I would also want to leave, and the current place is better than there. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are omniscient and will fulfill your wishes in the best way for you, not in the way you think. Su praise and vows. A few days ago, I watched the Indian mythological drama God of the Gods. Marsa, the incarnation of Shiva in the great heaven, was forced to swear and turned into Mara, who was a believer, and Shiva wanted to kill Mara. In the fight, Gauri swallowed the sky and became a widow. Smoke girl. Vishnu woke up from the sleep of yoga and sang a song praising Sakti, which made the smoke girl regain her mind and spit out the sky. In the end, Marsa and Mara fought a decisive battle, and Matanto killed Mara, who wanted to sneak attack Marsa. The praise of Sakti sung by Vishnu is extremely beautiful, as if it comes from the eternal sound of the milk sea, the mother of the universe. The power of the beginning, the body, and the constant sound of all things. Magnificent and profound, endless, all the gods, praise the glory together. The 4 classics of the Vedas, contained in the 10,000 classics, and the path of the world all come from you. In all directions, thousands of disasters in an instant, and mustard seeds come from you. Your great power is everywhere in the light dust. Since the birth of Shakyamuni Buddha, he has been the mentor of Bhogavan, the human and heavenly mentor, walking alone in the 3 worlds. Therefore, all the great bodhisattvas and the heavenly saints have praised the world. For example, the praise of the 4 heavenly kings in the Golden Bright Sutra, the Buddha's face is like a pure full moon. And it is also like 1,000 days of light. His eyes are as pure and white as a green lotus, and his teeth are white and dense as snow. Buddhism is as boundless as the sea, and infinite treasures are accumulated in it. Wisdom and virtue are always full of water, and 100,000 victories are full of salt. The wheels under the feet are all strictly decorated, the hubs and rims are all flat, and the hands and feet are full of solemn, just like the Goose King. The Buddha's body, Guangyao and other golden mountains, are pure and unique, and it is also like a wonderful and high merit, so I am the king of Foshan. The love is as unfathomable as the sky, and the light is more than 1,000 moons. They are all like flames, so I have no heart. There is also a praising Buddha verse, there is no Buddha in heaven and earth, and the world in the 10 directions is also incomparable. I see everything in the world, and there is nothing like Buddha. Praising the Buddhas is one of the wishes of the universal virtuous, and has great merit. Therefore, in the Jizang Sutra, Buddha said that worship, praise and support Jizang Bodhisattva, and he was blessed with immeasurable. In the Jizang Bodhisattva I published before, there is Master Es praise for Jizang Bodhisattva. If you often recite it, you will get the blessing of Jizang Bodhisattva and fulfill your wishes. Jizang Sutra, in the future world, if there are good men and good women, those who hear the name of Jizang Bodhisattva Mahasattva, or those who join hands, admire. Those who praise, those who salute, and admire, it is a person who exceeds the 30 robbery. Vishnu sang Sakti's hymns, which was actually to guide her away from the state of anger and return to the image of a goddess who originally benefited all sentient beings. Many praises in Buddhism also trigger the vows of the warning Buddha and Bodhisattva, so as to support the practitioner. Recorded in the history of Indian Buddhism, Vajradhara is a great poet at home. After arriving in Nepal, he saw many evil deeds of a foreign yoga mother, so he wrote a poem to curse her. She also cursed him to make him sick, so she prayed to the Holy Guanyin and praised it day by day. 3 months later, she met the Holy Guanyin in person, and her illness was cured. The praise reaches 100 hymns, which is a model of good poetry everywhere in the holy place. Vajradhara prayed constantly and wrote poems to praise Guanyin Bodhisattva. He not only recovered from his illness, but also saw the Bodhisattva in person and achieved all his achievements. Praise itself is a kind of yoga. In Tantra, there are 108 praises of Guanyin Bodhisattva, 108 praises of Green Mother, 108 sutras of the Great Auspicious Heavenly Girl, etc. Reciting can achieve great merits and even relief. After Master Lotus Peanut surrendered to the great ghosts, gods and demons in Tibet, he persuaded him to protect the Dharma. If future disciples offer and praise with all kinds of food and vows, they should fulfill the wishes of the disciples and complete all the cause. In the etiquette of esotericism, it is generally a prayer, one of the origins of which is to arouse the vigilance and recall the vows made in the past. In Dongmi, there is a quick spiritual formula. If you ask for the great immortality, you should constantly and repeatedly emphasize your vows and your actions, which can be quickly spiritual. For example, you once promised that if all sentient beings recite your name and heart mantra, you will be blessing and protect your thoughts. Now I am following the precepts of Samadhi, and please Don-ki support it. As for the dispatch to protect the law, it was sent with an oath. Mara is a bad guy, but he is devoutly the protector of the goddess Kari, and the goddess promised to protect him. Therefore, when Dazitian wants to kill Mara, the goddess is willing to go to war with her husband and protect the believers. Why? Because of the oath. In Tantric Buddhism, there is also a relationship between disciples and masters, masters and guardians of the law. Among them, this phenomenon is common in various religions. The original protection of the Dharma of the Tanta has similar vows, especially the protection of the Dharma is even more obvious. If you meet their vows, they are willing to help you. Therefore, when Master Zero killed some achievers, there was a competition between their own masters and vows to protect the law behind them. Buddha and Bodhisattva save sentient beings with this oath. All sentient beings in all directions, if they want to be born in our country, those who recite my name and hear my name, they will definitely be born with immeasurable light, will definitely be born with immeasurable consciousness, and those who will definitely be born with immeasurable life. This is the oath of Amitabha Buddha. May I hope that when I get Bodhi in the next life, if I have feelings, people are sick, there is no salvation, no return, no medicine, no relatives and no family, poor and suffering. As soon as my name is heard, all the diseases are eliminated, the body and mind are at ease, the family and the resources are all abundant, and even prove the Supreme Bodhi. This is the oath of the pharmacist Buddha. When sentient beings conform to the power of the Buddha's wishes, they will be the blessing of the Buddha's power of wish and the power of Samadhi. The prayer text of the Tanta often contains the vows of the Lord, which is to warn the Lord not to violate the oath and quickly support the performer. At the same time, your wish power should be in match with your own wish power. For example, Guanyin Bodhisattva is compassionate and pure, and you should also be compassionate and pure, and be big-minded to save sentient beings. For example, in the oath of the auspicious goddess, there are gold, food and drink, and wealth. Therefore, when you practice the great auspicious goddess, you often give wealth and food and drink, and you will be united with the goddess and respond quickly. And the strong earth god has the power to protect the earth treasure method and the golden bright sutra. If you can practice the earth treasure method and then cultivate the strong earth god, it is easy to respond. Or you often help to print the Dizang Sutra and the Golden Bright Sutra, and use the Dizang method to take the earth and the sky. Which is easy to make a career. So subtle, I wish you all the best.